Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back for a new video, and in today's video I'm going to be answering your questions. I've pulled all these questions from my comment section, and the one thing that they all have in common is that all of these questions are from drummers that are in their first maybe like year or two. A lot of these guys are just new to the kit. So let's dive in. The first question is from Scott. Scott's asking me, I've been wanting to get into drumming for the last little while. Are electric drum kits worth getting when you're starting out, or should I just wait and invest in a more traditional kit down the line? Okay, so yeah, don't get an electric kit to start out. I always tell people this, like, electric kits are something that you want to touch maybe in your third year, in your third or fourth year. Electric kits are not acoustic kits. If you're going to be playing an acoustic kit and you want to eventually be on an acoustic kit, then start on an acoustic kit and learn on an acoustic kit. If you're going to just be on electric kit because you just want to have fun in your bedroom jamming to your favorite Green Day songs or whatever it is, then you can do an electric kit, no problem. There's no issue there. But like I said at the beginning, like I said a second ago, if you want to do the acoustic, start on acoustic, stay on acoustic, and then maybe later on, if you have the acoustic and you're 3 years deep, then add the electric for instances of like noise problems, right? Like a good example of that would be like if you have a rehearsal space and then you're living in an apartment building and the rehearsal space isn't with you, like your kit's not with you all the time, then have the electric kit for your apartment so you can wake up and maybe practice on that in the morning, and then in the evening, whatever you're doing, like 2-3 days a week, you go out to the rehearsal space and jam out on the acoustic kit and get your acoustic practice in. The reason why I say all this is just because I have a TD25KV. That's my practice kit. I do spend a lot of time on that. It's very controlled. That's what I like about it, right? So it's a direct input. It's an electronic signal. I can put it into a mixer, and I can put a cell phone, and I use my cell phone for a timer. I can put a cell phone timer. I can put my laptop with my DAW so that I can work on a song or learn something or read MIDI off the laptop or whatever it is. I can do all that very comfortably controlled with an electric kit because, like I said, it's just a straight DI. There's a master switch on it, right? I'm not interfering with anybody else. I did a video with Lindsay recently where I taught her drum lessons, and I wanted something that was very controlled, and that's why we used the electric kit instead of the acoustic, because it would have been a really big pain in the ass if I was trying to teach her and interact with her and capture our interactions in the moment in that vlog, and at the same time I was trying to mute the cymbals and get her to stop touching the head so that I could actually talk, right? So there's applications for both, but if you're starting out, just like I was told when I started guitar lessons, I started on an acoustic guitar because it's a lot harder to create the notes cleanly on an acoustic than an electric. Same thing here. It's a lot harder to play a real drum set than it is to play an electric kit, and you will be at a disadvantage down the line if you start on electric and then go to acoustic. So yeah, the best thing to do is just have both, have a balance of both. So next question is from Eric, and Eric wants to know, can I ask what your pedal spring tension and kick head tension are? This is something I'm always experimenting with. So the kick head tension has to do with your tuning. Don't touch that. Like when you are dialing in your kick drum, don't dial it in from the standpoint of maybe I'll make this tighter so there'll be more rebounds so I can play faster, or those kind of concepts. I would say get the tone out of the kick drum that you're looking to get by tuning it the way you want to tune it. When you want to go faster or you want to change up settings to increase power, speed, or whatever you're looking for, that's all to do with the pedal. Just focus on the pedal. So to answer this, that's the head tension. Just dial in the head however you want it. Tune it how you want it to be tuned, how you want it to sound. The second part of it, the spring tension, I am always changing my spring tension as well. So if I want to play something really fast, like when I was working my way up to do that Whitechapel cover that I did like 4 months ago or whatever, I had to go from 190, which was my cap at the time, up to 235. And one of the things that Adam Bjork actually helped me with when it comes to spring tension is that I found that by taking the footboard height and lowering it and then increasing the tension a little bit from like the center point, so not max, but definitely like a higher tension on the pedal, doing that helped me a lot with my speed. Then as far as form went, I took my foot and I moved it to the back of the footboard, and I made sure to pivot in my ankle, which means that my knees aren't bouncing. They're kind of staying as level as they possibly can. And then I'm using the ankle joint to flick my foot on the back of the pedal. And you can get going really fast this way. This also is going to require calf activation instead of pushing down with your thigh from the top. So yeah, that's how you go fast. And then if I want to play like really heavy, like I want like really a lot of power, just digging in with some like rock grooves or whatever, then I'm going to bring the footboard depth up back to where it was. I keep it literally on the default for my trick pedal. And then I also loosen out the tension. With the looser tension, you can really throw that beater at the head and get a lot of power out of it. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Next question is from Alex, and Alex wants to know, is there any chance you can make a video on what earphones you use? The ones that I use, the drums that I play overpower the music, making it very hard to play covers. The ones I use, the drums that I play overpower the music, making it very hard to play covers. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so there's three products, and I'll list them in the description below. They'll make your life a whole lot easier as a drummer. The first is a custom in-ear mold of your own. So that's like actually approaching a company and getting custom in-ear molds, which is when they mold the inside of your ear and they give you a headphone that's going to fit perfectly to your ear canal. Those are expensive. It took me like literally 10 years, I guess like 6 of them, doing this more professionally, close to professionally. It wasn't until the last, like, I think I guess a year and a half ago or a year ago that I posted a video where I unboxed my first actual molds. So yeah, it was a long time for me to get those because they're so damn expensive. So maybe not the right option. Maybe you're a pro drummer and maybe you can go that route. I'm not sure, but that's definitely like the best route to go is the molded in-ears, because they reduce the sound by the most amount, and then you can put whatever you want in your ears. You can put it back in at whatever level that you want to go about doing that. The other 2 options are Shure has a line of in-ears that are like $100. I think they're the Shure 215s, or at least that's what they were called when I was purchasing those back in the day. The 215s, or they have the 315s, are like $200, just a better driver. If you grab those, it's this very similar concept to the molds. It's going to reduce the ambient noise around you by up to 30 decibels. I think it's like 25 decibels, which is a lot. You won't be able to hear the drums nearly as much, and you're going to be able to pump as much music into your ears as you want, and you'll have no issues there. So yeah, the Shure 215s, I'll link them in the description. You can check those out. And then the last thing that I recommend is, I think they're like $80, maybe 90. I'm not sure. I'll link in the description. Firth isolation headphones. They're literally the shell of those like jackhammer headphones that are like in yellow or in orange that you see on the outside of like hard helmets on construction sites, or you see a lot on gun ranges to protect your ears when firing weapons. Those guys reduce by 30 decibels, and they're crazy. They're awesome. They literally, like, I use them every single day when practicing. And yeah, I would definitely recommend those headphones. Those are probably like either the in-ears or those are about the same cost. It just is going to come down to which one you'd prefer. Another option too is if you have those jackhammer headphones, you can go to like the store, you can go to like Home Depot, Home Hardware, whatever you have near you. You can grab those. It might even be cheaper, and then you can put your earbuds inside of your ears and then put those headphones over top of it. So the headphones will block out the drums and the earbuds are inside of there pumping the music into your head or pumping the click track. So that's another option. That's probably the cheapest actually. So there you go. I hope that answers your question. Next question is from Sean, and Sean wants to know, when it comes to playing 16ths on the feet, I struggle and tire out really easily. Do you have any tips to help me? Endurance. Yeah, sure. There's lots of stuff you can do for endurance, but at the end of the day, like the biggest and best thing you do for endurance is just enduring. It's one of those things that like you develop endurance by doing it. There's a great episode of Feet that I have, Feet episode 2. Go check that out. If you perform all of the exercises in that and then you make it part of your practice routine, those will greatly help you to increase your endurance. I'll include a link to that in the description below as well. But outside of that, there's a very, very basic concept that I used a lot over the 2-month period that I was pushing my speed up to do that Whitechapel cover that I already talked about. I basically just took a time period. I think a lot of the time I was using like 6 minutes, and I took 6 minutes and I started at a base tempo of, for me, I think I started around 130. If 130 is too tough for you, then drop it to whatever you want. 80, 60, doesn't matter. Whatever's comfortable for you, just drop your click track to. And then for 6 minutes, right, like just like that, just keeping those 16th notes going. I guess that was 6, 1 and 2, and I guess those are technically 8s, but you know what I'm saying. Just keep the notes going for 8 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever it is. And then when you're done that, your legs will be burning. Move it up to the next tempo. So if you're at 130, next thing I do is 150, then up from there and keep going. So move it up to some next tempo. Even if it's 5 BPM, just move it up. Do it again. Move it up. Do it again. Make sure though, when you're moving it up, that you're still executing it properly, right? It's going to suck. Is how you develop endurance, is just enduring. It's going to suck, but make sure that even though it sucks, you still have the proper form, proper posture. The notes are clear and defined. They're all around the same velocity, the same dynamic level, and just focus on, like, if you get to the point where the form starts to fall apart or you're sort of choppy, you're starting to gallop, you reduce the click and stick to the latest, like the last comparable tempo for you. Having a really, really tight form and learning to drum with that form is going to be better in the long run, because if you push yourself to tempos that you can't do and you get sloppy form, but then you're still kind of like doing it but not really, you're going to develop some bad habits. Really, really focus on the form before you move up to the next tempo group. All right, the next question is from JC, and JC wants to know, do you find any perks being an ambidextrous drummer? I was wanting to learn, but I didn't know if it would be worth it. I'm not really an ambidextrous drummer. I guess, like, there are lots of situations where I lead with my left hand. I've made a habit of leading with my left hand over the years, just because a lot of the drummers that I look up up to also are capable of doing that very easily. I want to stay as balanced as possible. So in any situation where I can lead with my left hand, I make sure to do it. There's two perks, I guess, using your words. There's two perks that I can see in my playing being able to lead with my left hand. The first is I can set up the kit however I want. I mean, you guys have seen it. I literally have my splash is on the outside of my hi-hat to the left. Most guys don't put it there. It's usually inside the hi-hat, or it's in the above the rack tom, or somewhere centered so that you can hit it with the right. But I'm always going to that symbol with my left hand to get to it. And I can put stuff wherever I want because I can lead with my left or I can lead with my right, and it's balanced. I don't have to have like a ton of symbol spread on the right and then maybe only one or two things on the left. I can do it balanced and I can still lead with my right, lead with my left. No big deal there. That's the big thing, is like just having the freedom of placing elements wherever you want, squeezing in those little effect symbols and the nooks and crannies around the kit, or however you want to set that up. You can do that and you don't really have to worry too much about being able to get to it with the lead hand because you can lead with both. That's the first. The second thing that it's helped me with is just like the more you practice and focus on leading with your left or playing open hand, strengthening that left hand, strengthening that left leg, leading with the left leg, the more you focus on doing those things, the better limb independence you're going to develop, and it's just going to make things easier down the line. There's so many benefits from having stronger limb independence, and leading with your left and learning to lead with your left in all cases will help develop that. So those are the two perks, is you can set up your kit up however you want and it will definitely improve your limb independence. So the next question is from Ota. I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing that. But the question is, hey man, I'm in the 4th month of drumming and I have a question. I do my double strokes with slide, not heel toe. Is there any problem? Thanks for helping. You're in your 4th month and you're already doing feet double strokes with slide. There's no problem there. So all of the techniques, whether it's slide, whether it's heel toe, whether it's like a scuff, whether it's heel down, heel up, all of the techniques have places that they're really appropriate for. Definitely learn all of them. Let them all be in your toolbox. Because what you're going to find is like the more of these techniques that you can learn and pick up and understand, you'll really start to understand where to use them and what situations they are really work well for you in. And it's just going to make you a more well-rounded drummer. Is there a problem that you're using the slide instead of the heel toe right now? Absolutely not. You're in your 4th month. You've got tons and tons of time in the future to go back and learn heel toe. I didn't start messing around with heel toe until years into playing. I didn't start actually practicing it. And even now, like the version of heel toe that I do isn't the common version of heel toe, because the most common version that we see, especially with the speed guys, there's a lot less movement than what I'm doing, which that version I do know how to perform as well as of recently because of me getting my trick pedal, my direct drive pedal. So I've been able to figure out how to do that sort of. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future. Who knows? If you want to see that, request it below. I hope that answers your question. You're totally fine. Make sure to learn them all eventually. Let's move on. So next question, another name I'm not sure how to pronounce. Suman. Hi Wyatt, greetings from India. I just need a suggestion. Is a Pearl P2052B belt drive eliminator redline double pedal good? I mean, I have no idea about belt drive and I don't know anyone using this kind of drive. Could you please tell whether it is good for playing fast as direct drive? So if you're looking for a pedal that will be as fast as a direct drive pedal, this is not your pedal. There's nothing comparable to a direct drive pedal that isn't a direct drive pedal. Like direct drive is the fastest. Just the physics and the motion of the way you're applying force and the way the pedal is reacting. There's no loss of momentum in it. Well, there is, but not nearly as much as in the other versions of the drive, your dual chain, your single chain, your belt, or direct. So the direct is the fastest, period. Now, belt drives themselves, it was the one pedal that I've never played. I said in a video that they aren't really for rock, and a bunch of people in the comments got super upset. I guess they all own belt drives, saying how, well, I play rock and I play really hard and I've never ripped the pedal. I've never had any issues, whatever. Okay, like, I guess for you guys, belts have worked. But the thing that I've heard the most and the applications in which you see belts are just not typically in rock and metal music, because a lot of guys have told me that the belts rip and they wear out quicker than chains do for really heavy hitters. That's all I can say. I don't really know because I've never had it, but the word that I've heard is that belts aren't as durable as the other kinds of pedals, and they have a lot of feel to them, which makes them really great in more dynamic styles of playing, like jazz or things along those lines, where like you can play heel down and there's a lot of like humanization to the playing. That's when the belt drive is going to come in handy, I guess. But as I said, I'm not really sure. The main takeaway from my answer of this question is that direct drives are the fastest. There's just nothing in comparison. So I hope that answers it. We're moving right along. So the next question is from Mike. Mike says, love the ankle work for double bass. I got it down. Just need more power. Do ankle weights help with this? So he's referring to a concept that I was talking about earlier in this video. Do ankle weights help? Well, the muscle that you're using to push your foot forward when you're pivoting at your ankle is going to be your calf. You're pulling with the calf and that's pushing your toes forward. Are you going to be able to develop your calf with ankle weights? Not really. I don't know how ankle weights would really help you here. That would be more like thigh, I guess, because you have to lift your leg and then push down. The way I'm going to answer this question is really simple. I get a lot of questions from guys saying like, hey, if I train legs more, if I go to the gym and do like calf raises, or if I go to the gym and do squats or deadlifts or bench press, sorry, not bench press, but leg press. If I do those things, I'm going to strengthen my legs. Will that help me at the kit? Not really. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Like if you want to develop a certain skill at the kit, if you want to go faster, you want to hit harder, you want to, have more dynamic, you want to have a stronger left foot, better lead with the left foot, just develop those techniques at the kit. Going to the gym and lifting weights is not really going to help you. I've done a lot of forms of physical activity, everything. I do long distance running, I cycle, I do yoga, I of course do leg weights in the gym, I do calisthenics, I did martial arts for years as a kid. I've done lots of physical stuff outside the kit. The only one that really helps me is yoga, but it's nothing like, it doesn't directly help me with any of my sort of like techniques. Yoga is really great because it just gives me I think it helps with my limb independence because the different poses and the opening up of the muscles and the stretching and the strengthening of different like stabilization muscles and stuff like that can help with core strength and better posture and those things. Like there's these like little tiny ways that I can just feel better overall from yoga that does transpire into the kit, but there's no specific exercise that I've ever come across. Maybe you guys have one, you can let me know in the comments. But there's no specific exercise that I've ever found that directly helps one technique or helps my speed or something like that. So I hope that answered the question. Let's move right on. All right, so the next question is from Where Do EU Bank At? Great posture and handwork. How did you start out practicing, learning rudiments, or playing along with music? Hope you respond. Okay, so to answer this, how did I start out? I'll say how you should, not how I did, because I didn't do things proper in the first while of playing. I started younger and like I didn't really care about it until I got closer to my teens. And then once I got to my teens and I really cared about it, I really started working on it. I started doing things closer to what would be the right way. You can play along to music, but if you're going to play along to music, learn the song. Don't just guess. Like learn the song and play it the exact way it's supposed to be played. It's going to help you. You're going to figure out lots of things, right? Like why did the drummer do it this way instead of all the other ways he could have done it? Well, there's meaning behind it. There's things going on that you're going to uncover with each song. That's like one of the biggest takeaways that I've had from doing covers all these years is like a lot of people in books I've read, people have contributed. One of the reasons why the Beatles were so successful to the copious amounts of covers they learned, right? Like the Beatles played a show like every single night for like 3-4 hours. So they couldn't write enough music to play 4 hours of music every single night. They had to learn a lot of other people's songs, and learning other people's songs, you just grow your vocabulary really big, and you have all these different things you can pull from for your own music and mesh together and create something that's new to you. Learning songs helps in that way, but don't just play along to music. That's just sitting inside of your comfort zone. You're not growing, you're not practicing, you're not really getting anywhere with that. It's fun, and I do it too sometimes myself. I'll put on like an Eminem beat or something, and I'll just jam over that and see what kind of fills I can come up with. It's just fun though. That's like something that you can do when you're not looking to actually sort of push forward and get better. Learning rudiments, learning patterns, pushing yourself in ways of like, leading with the left hand or doing like proven exercises, those guys are going to help you develop as a drummer much faster. So in the early days, I would encourage you really focus on like the fundamentals and like go to books like Stick Control and Syncopation and really master the concepts inside those books. They're going to help you develop limb independence, and they're going to help you develop like the first early core set of rudiments that you're going to use on your feet and hands in so many situations going forward. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. Okay guys, cool. So that's been it for this frequently asked questions video thing that we just did. I hope this helps a lot of you guys that are in your first couple of years at the kit sort of progress, and maybe this clears up some confusion on some questions that you had at home as well. If you like this video, make sure to let me know by leaving a like. I would really appreciate it. As well, leave some questions in the comments below, and maybe next week I'll do another one of these if I get enough questions to sort of fill out a full video. So definitely hit me with all your questions below. I'll add those to the list for next week. You can support this channel by grabbing merch like the shirt that I am wearing right now. You can use the code REACTION to get 10% off at my merch stores in the top of the description. You can join my Patreon server, which will then bring you into my Discord server, and we can hang out on voice. And you can connect with me further on all my social media pages on the screen for you right now, and then in the description below. Thanks so much for checking out this video, and I will see you guys all very soon with something new.